Hello film fans and welcome to this episode of the Sherlockian. Now as you can see, Father Christmas has brought me some new camera equipment to play with, so I hope the image quality is a bit better compared to the previous camera equipment I was using. But with that out of the way, it's now time to look at the content of today's video. Now, I thought it'd be fun to look at Blue Planet 2. Now, those regular viewers of my channel will know that I previously reviewed Blue Planet last year, and then I kind of forgot about Blue Planet 2, which is weird because when it first came out, I was absolutely gobsmacked. I thought it was beautiful. Gorgeous shots, lovely score. It was nice to see David Attenborough back narrating again. And yeah, it really gave me great nostalgic vibes for the previous Blue Planet. But I have to say, I never thought it quite lived up to its eminent predecessor. Now, this is probably slightly to do with personal bias more than anything else. I was a massive fan of the original Blue Planet. It was actually the first BBC documentary series that I can remember watching all the way through. So it's not surprising that my kind of childhood nostalgia may kind of biased me to some degree. That being said, though, I did spot little kind of similarities between the two series, which is not really surprising considering Blue Planet 2 is kind of a sequel to the original. So yeah, one similarity I really did notice is that Blue Planet 2 continued Blue Planet's legacy of kind of heart-rending baby animal scenes, or more specifically, scenes of baby animals being eaten. So those who have seen Blue Planet will know that in the first episode there's that almost horrific scene where the orcas take down the grey whale calf, and while Blue Planet 2 never went quite that far, it does have a similarly kind of predation scene in its first episode where it shows giant trevally hunting baby terns. Now, I didn't really know a lot about giant trevally. The only thing I'd ever really known about them is that they are a very popular game fish for professional fishermen, for want of a better word. Apparently they're very exciting, very powerful, and very difficult to catch. And indeed, they are an incredible looking fish. They kind of remind me a bit of, I don't know, a kind of like a tuna on steroids. You know, the tuna's hard cousin, if you like. They have these amazing kind of big bulging foreheads, and they've got these huge kind of muscular bodies, and they are very exciting, and the sequence that they're in is brilliant. It shows the trevally scything through the water and taking out these baby terns that have landed in the water, and there's also some amazing scenes they showed underneath the water where you can kind of see the terns silhouetted up on the surface, and then the trevally kind of roaming around underneath. And the scene that really sticks out for me is the scenes where the trevally, after the terns have got a bit warier and realised what's going on, they start leaping from the water and taking them out of the air, and you see their mouths kind of open, and they kind of their mouths open in a kind of very kind of fishy way, for want of a better way of describing it. Kind of, you know how fish, when they take in water, so as it flows over their gills and they take the oxygen out of it, they kind of open and out of it like. Well, trevally do a very similar thing when they're grabbing the prey. They leap out of the water, and then you see their mouths open up and go. And it's absolutely incredible shots of the terns being sucked into these kind of gaping maws. It's absolutely fantastic, but also slightly creepy. So I really enjoyed those scenes. The other scene that always stuck in my mind was the one with the sharks feeding on the whale carcass. Now, this is a brilliant scene, and I mentioned it in my review of Shark versus Whale on National Geographic. And it has these incredible shots of the great whites coming in really close up to the carcass and kind of barreling around in these death rolls and tearing off these huge chunks of flesh. And it's absolutely great. Particularly, it kind of shows you behaviour that I hadn't really thought about before. The idea of great whites scavenging is like completely alien to their image in popular culture, but it makes a lot of sense. I mean, lots of terrestrial predators scavenge for a lot of their food, so there's no reason to assume that, you know, the big marine predators wouldn't do similar things. But the actually shots in that sequence that I really loved were the ones with the blue sharks in it after the great whites have finished feeding. all these blue sharks come in, and blue sharks are absolutely gorgeous. They're one of the prettiest sharks, I think. In fact, they might be one of the few sharks you could actually describe as being quite attractive. They've got these lovely slender bodies, and they kind of sort of shimmer through the water in this lovely kind of swimming style. And there's absolutely tons of them as the more of the whale's oil gets released into the water, and so more sharks are attracted by the scent, and all these sharks sort of materialize out of nowhere, and it's absolutely beautiful. And you see all these sharks just coming around, feeding on the whale carcass and rolling around and coming really close to the camera, and it feels very exciting. It feels like you're actually there, and I think that is one of the big things I felt a lot about the kind of the Blue Planet 2 style of filmmaking. They really put the viewer in the footage, for want of a better word. You felt like you were there and you're actually witnessing it yourself, which is absolutely incredible. Really, really, really well done for the filmmakers for that. And then the other sequence I really enjoyed, it's quite a strange one really, is the one with the mantis shrimps in them. Now, I'm a big sucker on this channel for strange animal names, and I really enjoyed the name of zebra mantis shrimp anyway. I mean, I think it's brilliant. I love the idea of the scientists sitting around thinking, we've discovered a new type of mantis shrimp. Now, what shall we be calling this one? Well, it's got stripes, so I think zebra. It just seems such a strange kind of eclectic mix of different animal names, but it works so well, and it just sums up what the way the little shrimp looks like. It is like a little zebra mantis shrimp. And it's got these amazing shots of it hunting, first of all, and they do a really good job at first of basically shooting in such a way you can't really see what's happening. There's just a flash of kind of dust, and then the fish disappears, and it does it several times, and it feels very kind of eerie. And then it shows you the mantis shrimp actually sort of like looking for its quarry, and then it has some other shots from, I presume, another angle, which shows it much more clearly the actual process. And the way mantis shrimps kind of hunt, and he kind of it's quite similar to kind of praying mantises on land, but it has that really cool kind of alien feel to it. They've got such strange anatomy. The way their joints bend, it's kind of that weird kind of like, almost like the opposite way to the way most other limbs, or certainly human limbs anyway, seem to bend. It's kind of so strange, and it really reminded me, the way it kind of shoots out and grabs things, it really reminded me of the kind of the monsters in Alien. And now I know apparently the monsters in Alien were based on dragonfly larvae, but I kind of got the same kind of feel, and it doesn't hurt the fact that they look very similar kind of colours. They just feel kind of strange. It's really brilliant, and so almost intimidating. It was really glad that they're only about 40 centimeters long, because if they were any bigger, it'd be terrifying. And it actually shows some really interesting behaviour. It kind of shows infidelity amongst mantis shrimps. Now, you probably think, well, what's the big deal? They're not exactly, most sea animals not exactly renowned for being, like very strong pair bonds, with like perhaps exception to things like albatrosses. But it feels kind of strange, because apparently they can actually like breed together for like up to 20 years. But if a female mantis shrimp loses its partner and it needs a partner to help it feed and reproduce, it can actually send like a little distress signal, which is quite cool really when you think about it. But then male mantis shrimps, if that partner is more a better partner, it's bigger and stronger than their own current partner, they'll actually leave it and go to that other mantis shrimp. It's kind of, I felt a bit sad really. I mean, I know it sounds a bit daft to worry about infidelity amongst mantis shrimps of all things, but it did feel quite poignant, which again is testament to their brilliant filmmaking. So hats off to the Blue Planet team for that. So yeah, that was my review of Blue Planet 2. Overall, I really, really enjoy it. It's got a gorgeous Hans Zimmer score, and it kind of kicked off, I think, that kind of, I suppose the renaissance we're in at the moment of kind of doing sequels to big, famous BBC wildlife documentaries. So since Blue Planet 2, we've had Planet Earth 2, and we've also had Frozen Planet 2. And we're supposed to be getting, I think, this year, Planet Earth 3, so it's clearly, it started something. So yeah, overall, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And if you've enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel. It would really help me out, help obviously popularise the videos more. And you can also follow me on Twitter if that's something you're interested in. There's a link in the description below. But yeah, thanks very much for watching, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Goodbye.